Answer me this. What do you know of our world? Really? What do you know of the Black Death? Of its true nature? Of those who survived it and rose from the ashes? What do you know of the dragons? Of varied tribes sailing together for a greater purpose? What do you know of faith? Of its hidden machinations and the few who sought to uncover them for the good of all? And what do you know of the Great War? Of the heroes that stood together against the might of the cosmos? What you think you know is just the beginning. Because the truth is dark, the truth is complex, and the truth has rules for all to abide. Welcome to the Mythic Protocol.
What's going on, guys? It is Clutch, and we are going to cover RiftStorm, a new co-op, top-down, looter-shooter, roguelite extraction game. It's a mouthful. Started early access today on August 11th, 2026. It is out now on Steam for a release discount, $11.99. That is 20% off for the introductory offer. That is only going to last until August 25th. This will be a quick introduction of the characters available and some quick screen grabs of the abilities and what they can do. In this game, you play as a Weaver, an elite operative of the Mythic Protocol trained to close rifts, wield supernatural powers, deploy unique technologies, and survive encounters with entities that should not exist. Starting the 11th, you'll have access to 5 Weavers that you will be able to unlock throughout the campaign. First, we have Starling, a high damage marksman force multiplier weapon specialist. Her passive skills are Preparation, in which Starling's weapons have increased magazine size. Unyielding, Starling gains momentum stack after firing consecutive shots without reloading. Each stack grants Starling an increased attack. And Resourceful, each of Starling's momentum stacks gain extra ammo over the magazine cap after reloading, which means as you keep reloading and firing, those magazines will grow larger and larger. Starling's abilities are Concussive Blast, an AoE sonic wave that deals damage and staggers enemies in front of you. Kinetic Screen, which is a buff for you and your allies, which guarantees critical hits and increases range to allied projectiles that pass through. Sustained Salvo immediately refills ammo. Projectiles gain piercing and homing until your next reload. Next, we have Botsy, who is a marksman and controls turrets that he can place around the map. His passives include Street Utility, which regenerates the shield of any nearby turrets, Gifted Subs, turrets gain the effect of Botsy's lithograms, and finally Going Viral. Turret attacks have the same elemental properties as Botsy's active weapon. His abilities are Roll Call, which summons his turrets, Conductive Paint, which places an AoE damage circle around your active turrets, and finally Hideout, which summons a protective turret that emits projectile blocking zones. You can summon a maximum of 2 turrets for both summoning skills. Next, we have Hertz, who is a tanky close combat specialist. His passive skills are Encore. His maximum health is increased for each lithogram obtained and gains temporary invulnerability upon reaching 0 health. Ramp Up. Hitting debuffed enemies grants him a temporary stack of fury. Each stack increases skill damage and damage reduction. And Feedback. Acquiring fury grants Hertz a chance to refill 1 charge of Stage Dive. First ability is Stage Dive. You will leap forward to a targeted location, dealing damage in a small AoE circle. This damage is based off of your maximum health. Next, we have Tempo Shift, which is an AoE debuff. It creates a temporary aura that deals damage and inflicts slow. And finally, we have the Freestyle Solo, which taunts surrounding enemies and gives you a temporary damage reduction buff. Next on the roster is Rook, who is a close combat area denial specialist. Her passive ability is Squad Synergy, which increases your attack speed and movement speed when you're an ally. First ability is Protocol Bolt number 87. Rook casts a bolt of energy that staggers the strongest nearby enemy, small or large. Next ability is Protocol Grenade Mach 7, which throws a grenade and deals damage in an AoE radius. Finally is Protocol Mine Mach 3, in which you place a mine that deals damage in an AoE area after being triggered. Finally we have Caracal, who is a marksman and controls a drone which applies vulnerable to nearby targets. His available passive skills are Watchful, which reduces the charge time of any charging weapons, Killer Instinct, in which perfectly charged shots consume vulnerable stacks and execute enemies when the shot exceeds a percentage of their current health. Each consumed stack lowers the execution threshold, and Blood Scent. Consuming vulnerable stacks grants bonus attack and movement speed, stacking up to 5 times. His abilities are Spotter Drone, which summons a drone that will attack nearby enemies and imply it vulnerable. You can summon up to a maximum of 2 drones. Marked for Death, which marks nearby enemies as priority targets. Marked enemies receive an additional vulnerable stack from all sources and are prioritized by Kestrel drones. And then Kill Shot. Command Kestrel to fire a piercing projectile through all enemies in its path. That attack counts as a perfectly charged shot. Out of all of these weavers, this one seems like it's going to be able to stack up the most.
Uplink complete. Identity confirmed.
You begin the campaign, they will start you with the character Rook, which seems to be the most versatile. I think that they're trying to set you up to have a more well-rounded experience when playing multiplayer, and they're trying to encourage co-op. I haven't gotten to try any of the other weavers yet, but once I unlock them all and play through the campaign tonight, I will have another video guide up going through all of the characters' abilities, different trees, and which characters seem to be the most overpowered and underpowered. These will all be based off of solo play, and then after this weekend hopefully I can get some co-op time and we can see how the synergies work. So far this game seems to be like a very high intensity co-op roguelike game. I'm very interested in seeing what's going to come from this, and I'm going to do a more in-depth review tomorrow once I have some more time to play with all of the weavers. Right off the bat, I'd like to point out that the mini-map is very helpful. The timers on the objectives are very realistic, and the game does support both mouse and keyboard and controller play, which is a huge benefit for a roguelite like this. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. We're going to be covering the release of this game and the progress of the early access, as well as other roguelites that will be coming out in 2026. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Internal containment breach detected. Contingency paddock activated. Base-wide lockdown now in effect.